Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line as he does every week. He is from Cinemablend.com. You can find out more about him at Mr. Controversy 83 on social media. He loves donuts. Friends, it's Mike Reyes. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
I was perfectly fine until we started talking about donuts because I am woefully undonated.
Somebody brought in just a box of glazed, and I was having one this morning. I don't need it, but I wanted it. It was one of those kind of donuts. And I started telling Mike about the greatness of Hertz Donuts. And if you're from the Midwest and a few other places, Hertz Donuts could be one of the greatest donut shops on the face of the earth.
And I'd love to try them, but they're not in Jersey, so unfortunately I have to miss out.
Not yet, but they're expanding, it looked like. If you ever do go to a Hertz Donuts, my favorite one is the Homer Simpson. It looks exactly like the pink frosting sprinkles Homer Simpson donut from The Simpsons. So that's the one I like.
I think the closest place I'd be able to, well, besides coming over to you, the closest place to get that is like Universal. I think they still do the Homer donut.
Oh, do they? Do they still do the...
I thought they did.
Did they do the... Weren't they the ones that did the Quickie Mart or something?
Well, they have like a permanent Quickie Mart in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. One of my buddies
like
went...
A permanent Quickie Mart?
Yeah.
I think they have Best Beer there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know what that is?
Wow. No, what?
It's, I just saw your confections.
Confections of a Rock Star from Asbury Park. If you guys are still making the pink cake, save me a slice.
There you go. No, it's from Ninja Turtles, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
When Donatello's hitting that thing, he's like, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and
you know what? I want to go watch those again.
The third one is so fucking bad.
Oh, yeah, I remember hating it, and I'm a kid who loves time travel.
Oh, it was like, what? Okay. Anyways, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me right now. We're going to talk about movies. Let's start with The Adam Project, because this is the one I'm more interested in, because it's Ryan Reynolds. Let's face it, that's really all I need in a movie right now.
Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy are a team that it's hard to not get excited about, because Free Guy turned out so well. And then this movie actually kind of landed in their laps while they were making Free Guy. And they just decided almost immediately, yeah, we're gonna reteam and do this together. And it's going to be on Netflix this weekend. And your basic gist is Adam Reed, played by Ryan Reynolds, travels back in time to the present day for some interesting reasons we're not going to go into. But he accidentally travels back to 2022 and meets his younger self, played by this new coming actor by the name of Walker Scobell, and they basically have to team up together to settle some emotional issues as well as potentially save the world.
Is it as much of a comedy as it looks like, or is it a little more serious?
The best way to put it is a lot of people have compared it to the Amblin movies that Steven Spielberg would do, where it's just like, it's like edges onto adult humor. It's funny. It has a heart to it. It is very much a funny movie.
Okay.
It definitely has, but it has a very big heart to it and a lot of emotional sort of depth to it, stuff that they kind of have to deal with because they lost their father at a young age. And, we see Walker Scobell's younger version of Adam is having a hard time with his mom, played by Jennifer Garner. And just at the right time, older Adam comes back by mistake and kind of helps him sort of deal with some of the stuff he's been going through.
All right. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me. So it's good, is what you're saying.
Oh, it's very good. I mean, again, this is the team that put together Free Guy. And Sean Levy knows how to make a blockbuster movie with set pieces and really good music cues, but also that human sort of, he likes to call them humanistic blockbusters.
Okay.
And it does have that humanity to it at the center. Walker Scobell is an amazing child actor because he proved why he got cast in the role of the night. I went and saw this at an early actual physical screening with a Q&A, like at the beginning of the month. He proved how much he earned this role because he knows Deadpool word for word and starts quoting the beginning of Deadpool 2 on stage sitting next to Ryan Reynolds. And just the way that he embodies younger Ryan Reynolds is perfect. The two of them together are a great team. But then you've got the rest of this great cast, like Jennifer Garner's in there, Mark Ruffalo, Zoe Saldana, Catherine Keener. Like it's just a real fun time travel movie. There's a lot. It's just what you would expect from a Ryan Reynolds movie. And it has a real big heart to it. Again, it's available on Netflix this weekend, so it's going to be very easy for you to check out.
It is. I looked it up just now. It is out right now. So, moving on to the other movie that's coming out this week is an animated one it's Pixar, isn't it?
Yep, Disney Pixar.
Turning Red. You watched it this morning. What'd you think?
I loved it.
Yeah?
I honestly loved this movie. I was apprehensive because I understand that not every Pixar movie works for me. I was not a big fan of Luca. I was not a big fan of Onward. But at the same time, I understand that these movies exist because there is a unique creative team that they've sort of been letting take over at Pixar.
Yeah.
Like they are giving more people opportunities to tell unique stories with unique voices. And Turning Red is the latest example of that because it tells the story of a young girl named May who is going through that monster of a time all of us have to face down at some point or another.
Taxes.
That's the sequel. And I would love to see. Okay. All right. So I would love to see someone turning into a big red panda when they have to deal with taxes, because that's what we all want to do. So anyway, get your taxes filed on time, people. Anyway, yeah. So this is the story of a young girl named. I'll wait.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I just thought it was really funny. That was the first thing I could think of. So, anyways, young girl, Pixar. What's happening?
The tax joke was still pretty good.
I thought it was. I mean, every once in a while
I liked it.
Anyways, all right.
Imagine turning into some giant animal when you're trying to do taxes. It's relatable.
It would be pretty funny, you know.
It would. 1042.
Oh, B-sox hasn't filed his taxes yet, and it's showing.
Oh, I saw that on the news. So, yeah, 13-year-old May has a family that is basically the guardians of the spirit of the red panda. And the females in her family, once they come of age, have to do a certain ritual where they have to deal with that spirit. And we get to watch her in the weeks before the ritual sort of dealing with being an awkward teenager who turns into a red panda when she gets too emotional.
I was dropping the taxes thing back in my head. And she has to do the ritual. Taxes.
You're just really pleased with yourself on that one.
I am, man, and I don't know why. But okay, so Pixar movie, it's good. You enjoyed it, correct?
Yes, I really enjoyed this. I mean, first of all, it is an absolute crime that this is going to just streaming. You can stream this now on Disney Plus, but if you watch the credits carefully, this was optimized for IMAX. This was going to be in 3D, if I remember correctly. It is gorgeous, and I would have loved to actually have watched this in 3D.
Okay.
And it pulls from, I've seen a lot of anime, I've seen a couple anime series that they sort of cribbed from. Sailor Moon is definitely an influence on this, to the point where there is a shot where May is jumping in front of a moon, and it's like, yeah, that is a Sailor Moon shot right there. It's a warm, beautiful story about family and friendship, because one of the things that I really liked about this, and you see it in the trailer, is her friends see her as the red panda, and she's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And they're all just like, no, we love you. We don't care if you're a red panda. And I like that sort of acceptance.
Going back real quick to the
taxes.
What's that?
The taxes.
Well done, sir. Well played. No, going back to the like and not like of Pixar movies. Well, you said that, and that kind of rang with me, because you do go back over some of them, and the interest level really goes up or down. Yeah.
And you know something? I would rather them take those swings and go for something that's interesting and new, because instead of just, hey, we're just going to keep making this and this and this. And Lightyear's next, which I'm excited about, but let's face it, it's basically a more realistic spin-off from Toy Story.
Yeah.
So it's not terribly new, but it looks exciting.
Boy, they've put out, in 2 years, they put out 4 Pixar movies. I didn't know that.
Well, I think that's mostly because of theatrical delays.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, because you go like this. I've seen trailers for this. I'm not crawling all over myself to go see it. Luca, I was kind of there. Like, I can't even remember the kid being like real fired up about this stuff. I really liked Soul. We watched that on Christmas. I enjoyed it.
It was really good.
Onward, you didn't like, but I actually really enjoyed it, and the kid really enjoyed it. I kind of base some of this on whether, if we see it or not, is whether or not the kid wants to see it, you know?
I mean, it's only fair.
Toy Story 4, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I know. Incredibles 2, it was good, but it didn't blow me away. It was long.
Loved it.
Really?
Loved it.
Coco, I really liked. That was a really
I
neat.
love Coco.
Coco was one of those movies that it was really different than what they had done in the past. Like the look of it and stuff. It was a fun movie, and the music was fantastic.
Yeah.
The car.
I love Coco.
The Cars series, I've never really cared about.
I will give the first one a pass because my dad loves it so much, and it kind of grew on me over time.
I mean, it's one of those ones they're not my favorites. Finding Dory, I never cared about, or Nemo, to be honest with you. I didn't care about either one of those.
Oh, I love both of them. And Finding Dory was one of those ones where I was very skeptical when it was coming out, and then when I saw it, I just loved it.
I love The Good Dinosaur.
Never saw it.
I just like the kid, how he was like a puppy in it. I just thought that was funny. And Inside Out, I don't want to go through all these, but Inside Out was really good too. So,
not a fan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually, I'm kind of shocked by that. But anyways. Joy
was the real villain of that movie. Sadness should have been the protagonist.
I can see that, actually. I could see that. Huh, interesting.
I really have to formulate more of an opinion as to why I didn't. I just remember not really liking that one. Just being annoyed. But
one of my favorite lines.
Because I'm annoyed by it. What?
Oh, I was just going to say, one of my favorite, you can tell me why you're annoyed in a second. One of my favorite lines of that. Great job, San Francisco. You ruined pizza.
And who better to give that to than Louis Black? Louis Black is anger. I think we have the best casting award here.
It's like he does his taxes every single day. Really? Nothing?
I'm gonna write that.
Yeah, okay. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com.
You're costing my patience.
Sorry. My apologies, good sir. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me to talk about movies. Okay, so that's the reviews for this week. The Adam Project and Turning Red. I'm going to see...
Watch them both. Watch them often.
You know what? The kid will probably watch Turning Red. Today's his first day of spring break, so imagine mom might throw that on and just see what happens. But the Adam Project, that's going to be a mom and dad watch at some point this weekend. So,
oh yeah, your kid might like it too.
He's really going back to what we were talking about just a second ago. He's really hit or miss on Pixar movies.
That's interesting.
And really,
the DreamWorks kid?
Any animated stuff. He's. I mean, it's really like we don't automatically for some folks, when the new Pixar movie comes out, it's an automatic. We have to take the kids to it, right? Jace has never been like that. It's weird, but anyways, moving over to the world of movie news, kind of the big one. It's not even movie related, but it does come from the world of Star Wars. We got our very first look at Kenobi this week. What did you think of this?
I think the trailer looks fantastic. I hope they don't f*** it up.
Boy, you were just all about the F word today, aren't you?
I'm getting over some illness, man. I need to vent some rage.
I got rage and I don't know what to do with it. So,
I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and it better not disappoint me.
I was a little underwhelmed by it.
Explain.
I feel like they're setting up I feel like the more and more they go with some of this stuff, they're trying to bring in that animated stuff like Rebels or the Clone Wars and all this, which is perfectly fine. But it kind of goes back to the it's something that you disagree with, where it's like, I want to see the moment where, he gets turned loose and really does something, Like, we didn't even get a green lightsaber or a blue lightsaber at some point.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to, and the reason I was bringing it up, it was kind of for me, it was kind of the Luke Skywalker thing where he finally really got to see what he was capable of in The Mandalorian. I was just kind of waiting for that moment with Kenobi where it's like, boy, and you know what? Maybe they're playing off that he really is defeated at this moment.
Yeah, and maybe he just needs something to kind of kick him back in and get him in the game.
Usually they kind of tease at something like that, but I didn't really feel like we got that tease.
I guess. I just liked how it looked, and I really don't want them to disappoint me. That's all.
I did think of you when they showed young Luke Skywalker. I'm like, oh, he's gonna hate that.
I was kind of fine with that because he's on Tatooine with him. That's not a forced thing.
Yeah.
He's on the damn planet, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's been watching over him all this time. His dad's coming back at some point.
There's going to be an awkward meeting between him and Luke Owens, right?
Possibly. I'm just glad that I'm glad that they brought back Uncle Owen and Joel Edgerton playing the role again.
Was that his name, Luke Owen? No, Lars. My bad. Yep. I was like, I'm pretty sure it was an L, but anyways, yeah, I don't know.
Lars and Baru.
I don't know. I kind of was just expecting, like, I'm excited about it. I don't want it to seem like I'm not excited about it because I am, and I think it looks like a lot of fun. It just, I don't know what I was expecting. That just wasn't it. I kind of got done with it. I'm like, okay.
Owen Lars.
Owen Lars, there it is. We'll get there eventually. The other thing, did you see, was that Han Solo in there?
I doubt it. He's probably still on Corellia right now.
They just showed, at one point they showed someone holding a gun down, and it looked exactly like Luke's or Han's gun.
I think that's a common gun. I don't think that's him at all.
Okay. I just, that was the one thing I'm like, is that Han? So, because he would be alive during this time.
Yeah, but he's probably still a kid on Corellia. He's probably still at the orphanage.
Good times, eh? So you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. That will be a limited series premiering on Disney Plus on May 25th, which some of us call Orthodox Star Wars Day because that's when the movie was actually released. This May the 4th business is just a marketing campaign. Stop it.
Boy, you hate that stuff, and it's funny.
The reason for the season, my friends, May 25th. Mark it on your damn calendar.
All right, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joined me. Real quick, on the other opposite end of the Star series, Star Trek gave us our first look at Strange New Worlds this week.
It did.
Looks like an updated original series, which is kind of what I think a lot of Star Trek fans want.
I think that's exactly what they want to make and exactly what they want to put into the world, and that is what it looks like. And what is it about Starfleet captains after they've had a moment of sort of doubt? Because that's what I'm assuming Captain Pike is coming back from here. What is it about them going to like log cabins in the middle of nowhere and riding horses?
I don't know.
Is that the very I looked at that and it's like, wait a minute, is he like buddying up with Kirk now? And they're like, we're going to have a moment here.
See, that's what I was trying to figure out if where it is because that's going to be the big part of this is where it is in the timeline. If it's after,
especially because that's the original series timeline, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and because Discovery, when they showed up, is about 10 years before Kirk's series. Okay, so you've got about 10 years to play with there. Coming out of that season, you know what happens to Christopher Pike in the original series, right?
Yes.
There's a moment in Discovery where he sees what happens to him and he has to figure out, okay, am I doing this to save the world, but I know it's going to sacrifice myself type thing and know what's going to happen to me?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out if that's why he's in the woods, if he's trying to figure himself out after all this craziness of what happened in Discovery. Or it could be you know what, the Enterprise was getting repaired after what happened in Discovery and I'm taking some time off.
I'm definitely going to have to catch up on all this.
Yeah, so I don't know. It looked cool. I will tell you this. One of my favorite things, I'm not the biggest fan of Discovery, but I can tell you something they did absolutely amazingly was rebuilding and updating the Enterprise bridge. Where J.J. Abrams took it in a really different direction. Like it had some of the cues from the original one. It didn't really look like it, you know?
Yeah.
This one, they open the doors and you walk onto the bridge and it was an amazing update of something you knew. You took that 60s bridge and you put it into with a modern budget, and it didn't do anything it didn't need to do. It wasn't, trying to be something completely different with cues of the old one. It was the old one updated, and it was amazing. So
I really do just need to go back and watch all these. I need to renew my Paramount Plus.
Yeah, you need to do that. Like I was talking about Picard before this. Episode 2 came out last night. There are a bunch of awesome cameos and Easter eggs in it. It's so awesome.
And a wonderfully chilling implication you told me about that kind of worries me.
Yeah, it really is. So, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line. Let's wrap up with one story. What do you want to wrap up with today?
It sounded like you had something in mind, so...
No, I didn't. I know we talked a little bit about the John Hamm stuff. I don't know if that's like...
We could throw that out. I mean, I think it's pretty big news that John Hamm was supposed to play Mr. Sinister in the X-Men Fox movies. In fact, apparently the rumor was he was going to film a post-credit sequence for New Mutants.
Oh, really?
And he was considered for it, but never officially offered the role, and it just kind of fell.
Okay.
Kind of fell through.
I'm going to tell you this right now. New Mutants is not as bad as people think.
I have not seen it yet, so I'll have to take your word for it in the meantime. But I've been interested to try and maybe approach that film.
Although I will say this, I don't think it should have been played as New Mutants. I think it should have been played as just these kids in this asylum for some reason. And then at the end of the movie, you find out, oh, these are the New Mutants. This is an X-Men movie.
I love when movies can pull off a surprise reveal like that. I wish they would have let them do that too.
I
wish more movies would be allowed to do that.
I think if they would have done that, this movie would have been a lot bigger because it's when
you put out you're in the middle of a thought. Go on.
I was just gonna say when you go into it knowing it's kind of like Iron Man or Spider-Man or any of these other ones. You know so many of the stories and you know what Spider-Man is supposed to be according to the comic books or Iron Man and so on and so forth. That some of this stuff you put that on your head that okay, I know that the New Mutants are supposed to be like this. So I'm expecting that.
Yeah.
If you would have just gone in and this was kind of just a teenage horror movie about some kids that are trapped in this asylum and they don't know why, and then all of a sudden it's like, these are mutants. That changed.
Go on.
No, you would get a completely different take.
Would get to the point where they probably sit together and it's like, okay, what's your name? Everybody starts rattling off their names. That's the point when you realize, holy shit, this isn't a New Mutants movie.
Yeah, and I think, you know what? I actually think some of these movies would do better like that. Like, imagine a Fantastic Four movie if you didn't know it was a Fantastic Four movie.
Okay, so small sidetrack before we go. You ever see the movie Deep Rising?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Fantastic movie. Treat Williams and Famke Janssen. They're on a jet ski. There's a huge monster attacking this cruise ship from the director of the Mummy remake. So apparently the plan was that was going to be a secret prequel to a new King Kong movie. Because there's that ending scene where they land on that island and they hear the roaring and they're like, oh, what now? That was apparently supposed to be Kong, I think. And I heard this on a Junk Food Cinema episode, and I just had to mention that because they had the same point that we're talking about right now. Stealth prequels and movies that do this would be a great idea. Like, as much as I didn't like Split, I kind of like the fact that they turned it into a stealth prequel for, tying up the story of Unbreakable.
Yeah.
That's the name of the movie.
No, we talked about.
It was a better movie.
Yeah, I know, right? We talked about this a little bit, and I remember you talking about because we also said like that Life movie, if that would have been a secret prequel to Venom, which I think.
Yeah, and then you have that director, you have those guys go and work on the Venom movies too, and it's like you really didn't want to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think going back to the New Mutants thing, I just think if we didn't know they were mutants and it was just that teenage horror movie, trapped in an asylum and weird hallucinations are happening and you don't know what's up and down and all that, I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah, because then you're hooked into this concept, and then it's like, oh, now it's a mutant movie.
You know what? Someday we should sit down and talk about like what would be movies and their sequels. What would make the best secret prequel?
Oh, I like that idea.
Like you take Police Academy 1 and 2. And you don't know the original Police Academy is the prequel to this or whatever. I don't know.
And then the moment you know is when someone yells Mahoney's name.
Yes, exactly. Right at the end.
Mahoney!
You know what? Speaking of that, and I know this is off subject and we should be ending, but I'm surprised we haven't got I'm surprised we haven't got Police Academy remakes yet.
Key and Peele were trying to produce one.
Were they really?
They were trying to produce a reboot, yeah. And I guess it just kind of fell by the wayside because, he has gone on to be a wonderful actor of all different stripes and shapes and sizes, and he's in that Judd Apatow movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peele went on to kind of, become a great masterful horror director who knows how to tease a concept with a trailer.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just, I'm surprised on that one. I'm kind of, aren't we supposed to be getting a Revenge of the Nerds, like a redo of that?
They were... I don't know if we're getting another one, but from what I remember, the last time they tried to attempt that was way back in 2006. Like the days when Fox still had this indie studio called Fox Atomic, which was supposed to do things for the younger kids, comedies and horror. They did 28 Weeks Later under that banner. And then they filmed a couple weeks of it and just shelved it, canned it, did not even go through with the rest of it.
Just was not going to work, huh?
I don't know why, but they just it was apparently enough that they filmed a couple weeks and it was no, we're not doing that.
Okay, let me throw this at you real quick before we get out of here. What if you did a Revenge of the Nerds movie, but you made it like a serious dark movie where the nerds are actually the bad guys and they're doing hacking stuff and all that, making people's lives miserable?
A dark comedy version of, I would love that. A dark comedy Revenge of the Nerds. Maybe even twisted into a revenge thriller horror.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And wait, you sell it as Revenge of the Nerds. You even put together a trailer that just looks like all the nerdy stuff. And maybe you hinted at just being a dark comedy, but then you twist it on its head and in the middle of the second act, things start to go sour and really dark.
They're hacking people's computers and putting up their dirty pictures and changing street lights so they, or traffic lights so they go to red when they should be green. And
it starts out Revenge of the Nerds, but turns into Scream.
Yes.
Fox, we are currently available for a pitch meeting on this. This is our idea, and we would love to share it with you and develop it with you.
That at the very end of the trailer where it shows the date of it coming out.
Yes. No trace of this being the demented, twisted film it is.
No, that in the trailer, that's the only hint that you're like, oh wait, what? Is something wrong here? And you get those kids from Stranger Things to do it.
Dude, this is perfect.
I'm just saying.
Perfect.
I'm an idea man. What could I say?
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm missing my calling.
Work on this.
I know. How many movies, legitimately, not to toot our own horn, but how many movies have we come up with this on this stupid show that are okay, that would be a cool movie?
A, I don't think we're a stupid show. B, we've come up with quite a few. I still remember Lightyear Meets Aliens.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
That was a nice one. I don't know, folks. If you have a favorite one, a favorite movie that we've pitched that you'd really want to see, let us know on social media.
There you go. All right, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joins me every week on the show to talk about movies. Mike, you have yourself a wonderful weekend.
And you as well, sir.